Maybe no one told you that the fatter I am, the more dangerous I am. Vote.
Don't take advantage of being fat.
Don't make fun of me, you old bitch.
The courtroom stayed frozen for a full second after the girl muttered those disrespectful words, too soft for the microphones, but loud enough for every soul in that silent room to feel the sting. Judge Judy didn't move. She didn't blink. She simply lifted her eyes slowly, like a storm deciding where to strike first. "Excuse me?" she said, her voice cutting through the air like glass. The senator's daughter Talia straightened her expensive blazer, as if she owned the courtroom. "I said," she repeated, louder this time, "I don't have time for this circus. My father has a meeting with the governor at 4, so let's make this quick." Her confidence wasn't bravery. It was entitlement, thick, blinding entitlement. The entire audience held their breath. Judge Judy leaned forward. "Young lady, the only person in this building who decides what is quick is me." Talia rolled her eyes. A mistake. A massive one. Judy immediately noticed it. Her tone sharpened. "Bailiff, did this young woman just roll her eyes at a judge?" The bailiff nodded carefully. "Yes, Your Honor, twice." A faint, nervous laugh rippled through the gallery. Talia's face tightened. "Look, I didn't come here to be humiliated. The accusations are ridiculous. I'm not even supposed to be here. My father said." "Your father," Judge Judy interrupted, "is not the one on trial. You are." The room's temperature dropped. Even the senator, seated behind his daughter, sat back with a worried swallow. Judy turned a page on the file in front of her. "You're being sued for intentionally damaging property worth $14,000. A painting. An antique. A family heirloom. The plaintiff claims you destroyed it out of spite." Talia scoffed. "Spite? She's lying. She's obsessed with me. I barely know her." The plaintiff Emily gripped the edge of her table. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but with a pain she had been carrying for months. Judge Judy caught the subtle quiver. "Miss Emily," she said, "you'll get your turn. For now, I want to understand why this defendant believes she's above common courtesy in my courtroom." Talia shrugged. "Because this whole thing is stupid. That painting looked like something from a yard sale. She should honestly be happy I touched it." Gasps, actual gasps. The senator closed his eyes. He looked like a man watching his career catch fire in slow motion. Judy's eyebrows rose, and for a moment, the courtroom braced for an explosion. But instead of yelling, Judge Judy did something far more terrifying. She smiled, a controlled, silent, dangerous smile. "Miss Talia," she said calmly, "let me explain something to you. Respect is the currency of this courtroom, and right now, you're bankrupt." Talia's smirk faltered. Judge Judy continued. "So unless you want to walk out of here with consequences far more serious than embarrassment, I suggest you adjust your attitude immediately." Talia opened her mouth, ready to fire back, but her father finally touched her arm. "Talia, enough." But she jerked her arm away. "Dad, stop. You said we'd be done in 15 minutes. She's dragging this out because she doesn't like me." Judge Judy tapped her pen once. A single crisp tap. "Why would I dislike you? I don't know you well enough yet." The courtroom chuckled. Talia flushed red. "You're mocking me?" "No," Judy replied. "Mocking would be a waste of time. I'm evaluating you." Then she turned to Emily. "Miss Emily, please step forward and tell me exactly what happened the night the painting was destroyed." Emily stood. She looked fragile, but her voice carried heartbreak and something colder. Something that hinted there was far more to this story than anyone knew. "It was the night of the scholarship ceremony," Emily began. "The night I won. The night Talia didn't." Talia stiffened, and after the ceremony, Emily continued, "She followed me to the gallery room. She said I stole her spotlight. She said I didn't deserve anything I had." Judge Judy's stare landed on Talia again, razor sharp. Emily swallowed. Then she grabbed the painting my grandmother left me and lies. Talia shouted. "I never touched her stupid family junk." "Enough." Judge Judy snapped, her voice echoing like a gavel strike. Silence crashed over the room. Judy looked at Emily. Finish. Emily nodded, eyes wet. She smashed it against the wall. And as I cried, she told me word for word, people like you don't get to win when girls like me are in the room. The gallery erupted into whispers. Talia went pale. She's making it up. Judge Judy raised a hand, silencing everyone. Her gaze grew colder, heavier, almost surgical, because she had finally noticed something, a detail, a reaction, a tiny flicker in Talia's expression when the words were spoken. It seems, Judy said slowly, that we are missing something. Something that will decide this entire case. Talia swallowed hard. Emily's breath hitched. The senator leaned forward in dread, and Judge Judy placed her pen down, folded her hands, and said, "Bailiff, bring me the gallery security footage." Asterisk, the bailiff nodded and hurried out of the courtroom, leaving behind a silence so thick it felt like a closing door cutting off. Talia's last bit of confidence. Talia's eyes darted around. Footage? Her voice cracked. What footage? There wasn't any footage in that room, Dad, tell her. But the senator didn't answer. He looked trapped between two worlds, the one where he had power, and the one where his daughter's actions could destroy everything he'd built. Judge Judy watched him closely, reading every line of guilt in his posture. Interesting, she said. The only person who seems surprised by the existence of camera footage is the defendant. A ripple went through the courtroom. Talia stammered, I just never saw cameras, that's all. Judy didn't respond. She didn't have to. Her silence said everything. Moments later, the bailiff returned holding a small envelope evidence. He placed it gently on the judge's bench. Judy didn't open it immediately. Instead, she focused on Talia with the calm precision of someone tightening the final knot in a truth trap. "Miss Talia," she said, "is there anything you'd like to admit before I review this?" Talia tried to speak, but her throat closed up. Panic flickered in her eyes brief, but enough for Judy to see Emily, standing at her table, clutched her broken gallery photo again. Her breath trembled. She had waited months for this moment, months of being told she was overreacting. Months of people choosing the senator's daughter over the truth. Judge Judy finally opened the envelope. The courtroom leaned forward as if pulled by gravity. She slid out a USB drive and handed it to the bailiff. "Put it up." The screens flickered on. Talia's fingers curled into trembling fists. The footage began not with a painting, not with shouting, but with something far more damning. There was Talia in the gallery hallway, pacing angrily, heels clicking like a warning. Then Emily entered the frame smiling, carrying her certificate. Talia stepped into her path. Emily took a tiny step back in the courtroom, reliving the moment. In the footage, Talia's posture screamed dominance, chin high, arms folded, eyes brimming with entitlement. No sound, but her lips were visible enough to read the words, "You think you deserve this?" The gallery in the courtroom reacted all at once. Soft gasps, heavy murmurs. Judge Judy raised her hand for silence, but her gaze never left the screen. Then came the moment. Emily tried to walk away. Talia grabbed her arm, snatched the painting from her hand, lifted it, and slammed it against the wall. A collective gasp tore through the room. Emily's breath broke into a silent sob. Talia looked like all the oxygen had been sucked out of her lungs, but the footage didn't stop. The camera caught Talia leaning in, her face inches from Emily's, lips curling with venom. Asterisk, "People like you never win over me." The courtroom erupted. Judge Judy clicked the remote, freezing the frame right as Talia said those words. She turned slowly toward the defendant, eyes sharp enough to cut through solid stone. "Talia," she said, her tone colder than steel. "You lied under oath, repeatedly." Talia opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her father stood abruptly. "Your Honor, please, she's young." She made a mistake. Judy's hand shot up. "Sit down, Senator." The room fell into absolute silence. Judge Judy leaned back, her voice low but powerful. "Your daughter didn't make a mistake. She made a choice. And then she made dozens more to cover it up. Talia shook her head frantically. Dad, please. Say something. But her father looked at her with a devastation he couldn't hide. I can't save you from the truth, Talia. For once, Talia didn't look entitled, or angry, or bold. She looked terrified. Judy tapped her pen, once slow and final. We are not done yet, because the footage revealed something else. Something neither of you has mentioned. Emily lifted her head. Talia froze. What? What else? Talia whispered. Judge Judy nodded toward the screen. Bailiff, rewind 10 seconds. And zoom in on the far right corner. Asterisk, the screen refocused. A shadow. A movement. Someone else in the gallery room that night. The courtroom went still. So still you could hear every breath. Judge Judy looked directly at Talia. Who? She asked slowly. Is that hiding behind the sculpture? Talia's face drained of all color. Judge Judy leaned forward. Because, unless I'm mistaken, that person was helping you. Asterisk, the room fell into a suffocating silence as the blurry figure on the screen slowly sharpened into something unmistakably human tall. Slim, wearing a dark jacket, positioned halfway behind the sculpture as if trying desperately not to be seen. But they were seen. Judge Judy paused the footage at the exact moment the figure leaned out, watching Talia destroy the painting, and doing absolutely nothing to stop her. Every eye in the courtroom locked onto Talia, her lips parted, trembling. I don't know who that is. Judy raised an eyebrow, the kind of expression that instantly told everyone. Wrong answer. Miss Talia, she said calmly, you hesitated before lying just now. I saw it, I heard it, and your father felt it. The senator's shoulders shifted barely, but enough to confirm Judy's words. Talia swallowed hard. It could be anyone. A guest. A Janet. Don't insult my intelligence, Judy snapped. That person was not a guest. They were hiding. Guests don't hide behind sculptures. The gallery murmured again. Emily looked confused, nervous. Even she didn't know there had been someone else there. Judge Judy turned to the bailiff. Freeze that frame. Zoom further. Slowly, the camera zoomed in. A faint logo shimmered on the jacket. Not fully clear, but recognizable enough. The senator closed his eyes. Judy noticed. What is that logo? She asked, watching him more than the screen. Talia's voice was a whisper, barely audible. Please stop. Speak up, Judy demanded. Talia's breath hitched. It's my school's security jacket. The courtroom exploded with gasps. Even the stenographer paused, stunned. Judge Judy sat back, her expression turning heavier, colder, more disappointed than angry. Your school's security jacket? She repeated. So you had a member of campus security with you that night? Talia shook her head violently. No. He wasn't helping me, he was just there, Judy shot forward. He hid while you destroyed evidence? That makes him an accomplice. Talia clutched her forehead. He didn't help me. Emily whispered. Who is he? Judy locked eyes with the senator. Senator, would you like to tell this courtroom why a school security officer was present in a private gallery room after hours? The senator looked broken, but he stood. Your Honor, I didn't know he was there. I swear it. But I do recognize him. Judy gestured toward the screen. Name, Officer Grant, the senator said, voice cracking. He's assigned to oversee student safety and my daughter, the room buzzed. Judge Judy narrowed her eyes. Assigned to your daughter? The senator sank slightly. Yes, I requested special supervision for her protection. Judy shook her head. No, not for her protection. For her behavior. Talia covered her face with her hands. Judy continued mercilessly. You hired someone to follow your daughter to prevent her from hurting others or herself, and that night, he watched her commit destruction of property and stayed silent. The senator's silence confirmed everything. Judge Judy leaned closer, voice like steel. Which means this was not an impulsive tantrum. Miss Talia, this was a premeditated act with a witness who you knew wouldn't report you. Talia looked up with tear-filled eyes. I didn't tell him to hide. He followed me. He wasn't supposed to, then why? Judy cut in. Did he stay hidden while you broke the painting? Talia's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her face contorted with fear, with guilt, with the shattering realization that she was running out of lies. Judge Judy stared at her for a long moment, then she turned to Emily. Miss Emily, when you reported the incident the first time, what were you told by the school administration? Emily took a shaky breath. They said there was no proof, that I needed a witness. They said the cameras in that hallway weren't active. Judy exhaled, slow, controlled. Funny how that works. Talia flinched. Judy leaned back in her chair. Miss Talia, the footage we just watched came from an external gallery camera, not the school system. Whoever shut down the hallway cameras that night did so intentionally. Talia's breath caught. Emily's eyes widened. The senator looked like his soul was slipping out of him. Only Judge Judy remained completely, dangerously calm. She looked straight at Talia. I'll ask again, she said quietly. Did you have help that night? Talia's hands shook violently. Her body seemed to fold inward, shrinking under the weight of the truth pressing down. She whispered. I don't. Judge Judy leaned forward. Tell the truth. Talia broke. It wasn't my idea. She shouted, voice cracking. I didn't plan anything. I just wanted to scare her, that's all, just a little. He said he could turn off the cameras. He said no one would know. The courtroom exploded into chaos gasps. Whispers, shock. Judge Judy hammered the gavel. Order. Talia wiped her face with trembling fingers, breaths coming in panic bursts. I didn't think he'd actually do it, she sobbed. I didn't even ask. He just said he knew a way, and I swear, I didn't know he'd turn everything off. Judy didn't blink. But you didn't stop him. Talia collapsed into her chair, destroyed. No, I didn't stop him. Emily stared, speechless, tears rolling silently down her cheeks. Judge Judy folded her hands. Well, she said, voice low and final, now we know the full story. Talia lifted her head, eyes red. Am I going to jail? Judy didn't answer immediately. She let the fear simmer, let the truth settle, let the room absorb the consequence. Then she said, that depends. Because before I give my ruling, there is one more person we need to hear from. Everyone froze. Judy turned to the bailiff. Bring in Officer Grant. Asterisk, the doors at the back of the courtroom swung open with a heavy groan, and every head turned as Officer Grant entered. He wasn't in uniform. He wasn't confident. He wasn't even walking like a man accustomed to authority. He walked like someone carrying a secret that had rotted inside him for months. Judge. Judy watched him with eyes sharp as blades. Officer Grant, she said, take the stand. He hesitated, then obeyed. He sat, hands trembling, eyes darting between Talia, the senator, and the judge. He already looked guilty. The truth was sitting on his shoulders like a boulder he could no longer hold. State your name, the bailiff instructed. Jonathan Grant, he answered quietly. Former campus security. Former? Judy repeated. He nodded, shame tightening his jaw. I resigned last week. The courtroom reacted another round of murmurs. Judge Judy leaned forward. Why did you resign? Grant swallowed hard. Because I knew this was coming. Talia gasped softly. No, Grant, please don't, Miss Talia, Judy warned. You will remain silent. Grant exhaled shakily, bracing himself. I failed my duty. And more than that, I betrayed it. The senator stared at him with devastation. Emily clutched the edge of her table. Even Talia, who just minutes ago had fought with arrogance, looked like a child drowning in fear. Asterisk. Judge Judy folded her hands. Mr. Grant, I need you to tell this courtroom exactly what happened the night of the scholarship ceremony. Grant nodded slowly. I was assigned to watch over Miss Talia, not for safety. He glanced at the senator, but to prevent incidents. The judge raised an eyebrow. Incidents plural? He nodded. Yes, she has. A history. A collective breath rippled through the courtroom. Grant continued, voice cracking. That night, after she lost the scholarship, she was furious. She told me not to follow her, but it was my job. So I did. Did she know you were there? Judy asked. No, not at first. And when did she notice you? Grant closed his eyes. When she confronted Emily, she looked back and saw me. She told me to stay out of it. I should have stepped in. I should have stopped it. Talia shook her head violently. I didn't mean for anything. Silence, Judy snapped. Grant continued, guilt pouring from every word. The argument escalated. Emily walked away. Talia grabbed her painting. His voice broke, and I froze. I knew it was wrong, but I was afraid of losing my job, afraid of going against the senator's daughter. Did she ask you to disable the cameras? Judy asked. Grant's jaw clenched. Not directly. She just said, no one will know, and I interpreted that as an order. You shut them off? Judy asked. Grant nodded, tears building. Yes, I shut the hallway cameras off from my tablet. Emily let out a quiet, strangled breath, half pain, half relief at being vindicated. Judy's voice sharpened. Why did you hide instead of stopping her? Grant covered his face, shaking. Because I knew if I stepped in, I'd have to report it. And I knew if I reported it, I would lose my job. I took the coward's path. He lowered his hands, eyes red. I hid. I watched her break the painting. And then I told the administration there was no proof. Talia sobbed into her hands. Grant, why are you saying all this? You promised. Judge Judy slammed the gavel. Miss Talia, one more interruption and I will have you removed from this courtroom. Talia went silent, absolutely silent, frozen by the tone of Judy's voice. Grant wiped his eyes. I failed Emily. I failed my duty. And I'm ready to face whatever consequence comes. Judge Judy stared at him for a long, cold moment. Then she said, Officer Grant, you are not the one on trial here. But your testimony exposes a pattern of entitlement, manipulation, and obstruction. Talia flinched. The senator rubbed his forehead like the last thread of hope. Head snapped inside him. Emily's tears fell steadily, but her shoulders finally relaxed after months of being dismissed. She was finally being heard. Judge Judy stood. Her voice rose, firm and absolute. This is no longer just a case of damaged property. It is a case of deliberate destruction, clear intent, and coordinated concealment. Talia looked up, terrified. Please, Judge Judy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean save it, Judy said coldly. Apologies without accountability are meaningless. Judy turned her gaze to Emily. Miss Emily, you have endured humiliation, loss, emotional distress, academic pressure, and an institutional cover-up. This court acknowledges your suffering. Emily pressed a hand to her lips, overwhelmed. Then Judy faced Talia. Miss Talia, stand. Talia rose on shaking legs. You lied. You manipulated. You abused privilege. You attempted to silence the truth. You weaponized your father's power. And you enlisted security to shield your wrongdoing. Talia broke into silent tears. Judge Judy leaned forward. And now, she said, you will face the consequence your arrogance has been running from. The courtroom leaned forward as one. Even the air didn't move. Judge Judy lifted her gavel slightly, then lowered it. My ruling, she said, will be delivered after I hear one last piece of evidence. Everyone froze again. Talia whispered, what? Evidence? Judy turned to the bailiff. Bring the gallery owner inside. The person who installed those cameras. Talia collapsed into her chair. Emily inhaled sharply. The senator's eyes widened with dread. Judy's final words hung in the air like a blade about to drop. They have information neither of you expect. The courtroom doors creaked open again, this time revealing a middle-aged man with a calm but resolute demeanor. He carried a clipboard, and his presence immediately commanded attention, not through size or force, but through a quiet authority that demanded to be heard. This was Mr. Alan Rivera, the technician who had installed the security cameras along the hallway. And in the exhibition room where Emily's artwork had been displayed, he approached the witness stand, setting the clipboard down with deliberate precision. Judge Judy's eyes never left him. Mr. Rivera, she began, you installed the cameras in the hallway and the gallery where the incident occurred, correct? Yes, Your Honor, Rivera replied. His voice was steady, unflinching despite the tension radiating from the courtroom. I installed the cameras to ensure security and to maintain a complete record of all activity within the gallery. Were these cameras functional the night of the scholarship ceremony? Judge Judy asked. Rivera nodded. Absolutely. They were fully operational. I personally tested each one the morning of the event. Nothing in their configuration would have prevented continuous recording. Judge Judy leaned forward, her gaze piercing through the tension like a surgical knife. And yet, she said slowly, turning toward Talia, we know there is a segment of time when the cameras show nothing, correct? Yes, Your Honor, Rivera confirmed. The cameras stopped recording at 8:15 p.m. and resumed at 8:42 p.m. That's a 27-minute blackout. The courtroom murmured. Mr. Rivera, can you explain why there would be a 27-minute gap in recording? Judy asked sharply. Rivera hesitated slightly before speaking. Under normal circumstances, there shouldn't be any gap. Once activated, the cameras record continuously unless someone disables them manually or shuts down the system remotely. Judge Judy's eyes narrowed, locking onto Talia. Do you see where this is going, Miss Talia? Talia's lip trembled and she looked to her father. But the senator was frozen, unable to intervene. Rivera continued. I ran the server logs this morning, and it shows that at precisely 8:14 p.m., someone logged into the security system using a personal tablet that was registered under your name. Miss Talia. A collective gasp filled the courtroom. Emily's hands flew to her mouth. Talia's face went pale. She stammered, I didn't. I only... Judge Judy raised her hand sharply. Silence. Talia sank into her chair, tears spilling freely. Judge Judy turned to Rivera. What happened after the login? The system was disabled for 27 minutes, Rivera said. During that time, the hallway camera that would have captured the destruction of Miss Chun's artwork was turned off. Then the system resumed recording automatically at 8:42 p.m., as if nothing had happened. Emily let out a shaky breath. That's it. That's the proof I needed. Judge Judy looked directly at Talia, voice calm but deadly. So you enlisted Officer Grant to protect your actions, and then you yourself disabled the security cameras to cover it up. Is that correct? Talia's voice was a whisper. I didn't think anyone would see it. Just what? Judge Judy's voice sharpened, echoing through the courtroom like a thunderclap. Just what made you think the law, truth, and decency wouldn't catch up with you? That your privilege and your father's position would shield you from accountability forever? Talia's father, the senator, had turned crimson. He muttered under his breath, but Judge Judy did not miss a beat. Silence. She commanded again. The courtroom went utterly still. Judge Judy rose from her bench, her presence filling the room entirely. Miss Talia, she said, voice low, lethal in its precision, you have demonstrated calculated deception, premeditation, and abuse of power. You manipulated an employee, disabled crucial security evidence, and attempted to conceal your wrongdoing to protect yourself at the expense of another student's property and dignity. And you did all this while relying on your father's influence as a shield. That is not just arrogance. That is criminal negligence, intentional obstruction, and an abuse of trust. Talia shrank in her chair, silent. Judge Judy turned to the audience, then directly at the cameras, her voice resolute. Let this be clear. No one, not wealth, not family position, not privilege, and certainly not intimidation, is above the law. Today, in this courtroom, we see the consequences of entitlement when it collides with accountability. She pivoted back to Talia. Given the deliberate actions, the coordination with Officer Grant, and the attempt to conceal evidence, this court is forced to take action far beyond restitution for damaged property. Miss Talia, you will face the following consequences. A hush fell across the courtroom. Even the senator leaned forward, strained to hear. Judge Judy's gavel struck with finality. First, you will restore the damaged artwork and compensate Miss Emily Chun fully for any losses associated with its destruction. Second, you will issue a formal written apology to Miss Chun and the scholarship committee acknowledging your actions. Third, Officer Grant's testimony and your own admitted Interference will be forwarded to the appropriate campus authorities for a review of disciplinary action, up to and including expulsion or removal from any student body office. Fourth, this court is referring the case to law enforcement for potential criminal investigation into obstruction of security measures and property damage. And finally, the full record of this case will remain on public record to ensure accountability and prevent similar acts of abuse in the future. Talia's knees buckled as the weight of the judgment sank in. The senator's hand flew to his face. Emily finally exhaled, relief flooding through her. Judge Judy leaned back in her chair, her eyes never leaving Talia. Let this be a lesson. Arrogance, privilege, and the belief that you can manipulate the system will not protect you. And let this courtroom serve as a reminder. Integrity, responsibility, and courage always prevail over deceit and entitlement. As the gavel came down one final time, the courtroom erupted in whispers, gasps, and subdued applause. The cameras captured every second, ensuring that the record of Justice Swift, precise and undeniable, would live on for everyone to witness. Talia slumped forward, sobbing openly. Officer Grant lowered his head in shame. The senator remained rigid, trapped in disbelief. And Emily Chen, trembling but triumphant, finally felt the first taste of justice she had been denied for months. Judge Judy's voice cut through the air one last time. This court is adjourned. The gavel struck once more, echoing like the final punctuation on a story that would be told, retold, and studied for years to come. Justice had been served, and it had left no room for excuses, no space for arrogance, and certainly no mercy for those who believe themselves untouchable. Asterisk. If you enjoyed watching this explosive courtroom showdown and seeing justice served with zero tolerance for entitlement, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more unforgettable Judge Judy moments. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a case where bullies get exactly what they deserve. Share this video with friends and family who love real-life justice. It's proof that accountability always wins.